Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to this gathering, which theme is very touching. It is Forget the Borders, not the Afghan girls. A theme that regards the international community, because we are talking about Afghan girls, but we can enlarge it to talk about the girls in general and the place of the girls in the society, where they should be in 2022. Just few days back in Iran, there was this barbaric assassination of a young girl just because she was accused of not putting on the veil as recommended by some person or according to the law. Today, we should be thinking about the Afghan girls, but I think added to that, with what just happened in Iran, it reflects what many girls and women in general are going through in many parts of the world. From Afghanistan, you can go to Pakistan, you can go to Iran, you can go to Africa. In some of the countries, the terrorism or the terrorist groups are really inflicting pains and trying to violate the rights, I think the human rights of many of the population. And most of those who are suffering are women and the young girls. So we know what happened in Afghanistan more than a year ago, when the Taliban came back to power, and some of the people, many were forced to leave, and many were killed, and some of them who succeeded by chance to leave the country came to Italy. And those who were in Italy, some of them are collaborating with the refugee organization that I am heading, which is called Mosaico Action for Refugees. And so together with our eminent professor, we decided to organize the event in order to let the international community know what is happening in Afghanistan, what the girls are going through, what the women are going through. But I think, as it is rightly said, we shouldn't forget the girls. When you look at the theme and the subtitle, what attracts me more is when it is highlighted education. How important is education to all of us? If today we are here to listen to each and every one of us, to listen to the speakers, it's because they had an opportunity in their lives to go to school. And when we decided to talk about education, it came to mind, there is this Nobel Peace Prize winner, Malala, who said something that is very important about education. And she said, in one of the quotes that I like too much is, one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Just to make you understand how important education is and how a society can change when the girls, the women, are given that opportunity to go to school. Women in the past, and in some cases, are relegated to the background. They are still considered as objects. They are still considered as they are relegated to the background. And in most cases, their human rights are violated. So the women who are with us here in with the association that I am heading, we have welcomed them, and we want to show to them, prove to them that we live in Italy as refugees, but they have rights to continue their education, because we know education is very important for each and every one of us. During this gathering, you will have the opportunity to learn more about Afghanistan. But we shouldn't forget that the girls in Afghanistan need us as all the girls around the world. So I will allow the moderators. Thanks very much, and thanks everyone who is here for honoring this appointment. And I hope we are going to learn something very important and share with others who are back home. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Hi, hello. Okay, I don't know if this is on. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Elisabetta, and this is Beatrice, and we will be the moderators this evening. I am a student at Speech Language Pathology in University of Turin.
And I am a cultural anthropology and ethnology student in Turin.
And we are part of Mentorship Project. This is a project carried out by University of Turin, and especially by students, for students, for international students, with a particular attention to those who are refugees or holders of international protection.
And this project aims to raise awareness in the academic community around issues such as social inclusion and academic integration and social cohesion.
If you're curious about it, you can find some flyers in the back. So let's move on to our first speaker, who is Shakofa Baraksi. She is a scholar of political activist and a permanent member of the Gloria Jirga on behalf of women, a volunteer member of the Social Organization and Democratic Stability High Council of Herat Province, a professor at private universities, and an expert of social sciences at the Scientific Research Center of Herat University. Currently, she is working on the mentorship project for UNITO, helping refugee students. She has decided to establish a counseling and scientific research center for immigrants to support more academic activities, so that immigrant experts can talk about academic plans and programs in an organized place to support academic freedom.
So I'm gonna quickly translate what my colleague just said about Shakofa. So Shakofa è una ricercatrice di scienze politiche ed è un'attivista, e è un'esperta di scienze sociali e una ricercatrice presso l'Università di Herat. Attualmente sta lavorando con il progetto Mentorship per l'Università di Torino e affianca gli studenti rifugiati.
Ciao a tutti. Today, the aim of this conference is that the first step of gathering professors, researchers, and experts from Afghanistan. It will be the first step to start a mechanism, a strong mechanism to support academic freedom here and also in Afghanistan. Why we decided to hold this conference? Because there are some problems in Afghanistan, in Iran, Pakistan, and also here as a refugee. You know, it's not easy to be enrolled in a university without a documentation. So we decided to hold this conference and discuss about this supporting mechanism, how we can achieve our dream with each other. Most welcome to this conference. Nice to meet you all. The problem I have categorized, they are different. It means in Afghanistan we have another issue. When we decided to leave our country and we are in neighboring countries like Iran and Pakistan, we have another issue, especially my people from Afghanistan. And when we are here to achieve our dreams, another problem will be in the way, because the bureaucratic problem, it's so tough here. So we decided to have this conference to discuss with you if some of you can help us in this regard, to establish a counseling center and research center for refugees, for immigrants, not just for Afghan, for all. Because when we are refugees, we have a common problem, or we have the common path with each other. So if we establish this association like a research center or counseling center, we can help other people from other countries. First of all, I want to explain some problems we faced in this duration we are here. I'm grateful from the University of Turin that invited me as a researcher. I came here with other professors from Afghanistan, and it was a good opportunity for us to be here to start again our life academic environment. But most of my colleagues, they couldn't get this opportunity to come here, or even they are in Afghanistan and suffering from a lot of things, not just from, they are jobless, they are suffering from economical problems, and it means there are a lot of things to discuss. But today it is, for me, it is a limited time, so I cannot explain all of things, but we can discuss more in more other conferences. About Afghanistan, because some of people think if the gates of universities and schools are open, it means everything is fine in Afghanistan. It's not true, because we are worried about the future of the method of teaching in this university institution. If they be open and the method is not according to the international standard, and the Taliban decided to delete all the curriculum, it was for 20 years we studied in Afghanistan. And also, if the girls can go to the school without any choice, they cannot select their clothes color, they cannot select the subject they want to study. If they cannot select, they cannot choose which day they should go to university or school, because they make separation between men and women in Afghanistan. Even some university institutions, they are open. There is differences between the day. 3 days is for women, 3 days is for men. And they cannot discuss with each other. It means there is no academic freedom in Afghanistan, but the world is ignore these things. I don't know why, but there may be some of the political players, they rolled their game perfectly in Afghanistan. Now they leave Afghanistan with this kind of issue we have. Another problem is if someone tried to leave Afghanistan and they are in Iran and Pakistan, they have another problem. They are suffering there from different issues like economical problems, like visa issues, but like other procedure they need. I'm in contact with more than 100 students. They are in Iran. Still, they are waiting for their procedures. Sometimes the embassy asks them a bank guarantee. One person should guarantee them from Italy, be citizen of Italy. When we ask from someone, they said we cannot do it. When they have this opportunity to receive a bank guarantee from here, Italy, they have another problem. They cannot enter to the embassy because there is a CKG procedure that I cannot explain to you how tough it will be. Okay, after that, when someone can get the opportunity to be enrolled at the university, again, there is no academic freedom for them in Iran or Pakistan. And I know my neighboring countries, they never be kind. If they are not kind with their people, how they can be kind with my people? Another category of the problem is that when we are here, for example, for me, it was a good opportunity to come here, start again my work at university, and I'm a researcher. I'm a part of mentorship project, which we are helping the refugee students, international students. But for some of the people, they are here. I'm in contact with them for more than 8 months. I think I came here 6th of February. We are in contact with them. They have a lot of issues how they can enroll at the university. Because when they ask to be enrolled at university to achieve their dreams, they couldn't do it in Afghanistan. the need of documentation is one part, and when they ask for the documentation, you know, the procedure, the bureaucracy is so long. They must wait for 1 year or 2 years to receive one document, and after that they can be enrolled at the university. When they want to be enrolled, the project forces them to leave the project, and you should find a job. It means here we are suffering something like I feel that some girls here, they are disappointed and they think there is no academic freedom here for them. We are trying to support them. How we can support by have a strong mechanism, supporting mechanism for them. So we, with my colleague, we can help them if we can establish a research center and counseling center, like a place, official place. Officially, we can start the job to helping these people. And I'm sure that when we have authority, we have official authority, it will be more helpful. I supported some of the people, they need, from my friend, I asked to help them. But I'm sure if we can have establish our research center and counseling center, we can have more opportunities. Because sometimes when I participated in conferences, I know there are a lot of opportunities available for them. When I describe to them that this is an opportunity, they don't know how they can register or how they can achieve these opportunities. If we have a research center, we can sit together, we can decide what should we do for this, for example, the opportunities. Because of that, most of the people, they came here, just they are thinking how they can leave Italy. They don't know the opportunities. When I say to them, there are a lot of opportunities you can achieve, they said, we don't know how. So this association or this organization can be a good opportunity to provide for them information, to advise them, counseling about education, how they can enroll at university. To, for example, we can also help the people, they are waiting for their visas. We can communicate with the universities that they are enrolled and they can support them in this regard. So I think for me it's enough. My colleague will explain more about this mechanism, how we can support the Afghan students here in Afghanistan and in Pakistan and Iran. Actually, we have some project like mentorship project. It's a good project at Turin University. We are helping the refugee students, international students, and also especially Afghan, especially people who are suffering from war from their country. So when they are here, they have a good opportunity to be supported by this project. I think if all the university has this opportunity like this project, it will be helpful. And also, my friend Julia, she is working hard for Afghans. She has another project. And also, I think there are humanitarian corridor, other projects, they are supporting people. But it's not for educated people. You know, most of the people who are educated in Afghanistan, they are suffering from the Taliban because they are against the knowledge, against the education. But the humanitarian corridor, most of the time, I don't know who will be eligible for this humanitarian corridor. I ask from different groups, if you have this corridor, please give a special space for the educated people because they are suffering. We had some other project they supported by other governments like America or other countries just for social activists or journalists for this, but for educated people, for researchers, it wasn't like that a special humanitarian corridor for them. Because of that, we are thinking that if we have an association, we can convince some humanitarian project to support these people. Thanks for being with us today. Maybe you will learn more about the situation of Afghanistan. If you need more information, I am working at the University of Turin. You can be with us. And my request or my request from you that don't forget Afghan girls, because I know the situation is not easy. Because I was a child when the Taliban arrived in the first time in Afghanistan. I was waiting for more than 5 years for the reopening of the school. I studied at home, my school, and it's not easy if you cannot go to the school. Even if I decided to go to the school, I didn't have the chance to tell them the reality. I said to them, I was changing my way, and now I feel the girls who are waiting for a school. Thank you again for being with us. Stand with us to support academic freedom in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next speaker, which is Giulia Rante. Giulia Rante joins the Global Campus in her capacity as a project officer for the Threatened Afghan Students and Scholars Program, where she coordinates activities and administration of the project. Before moving to Venice, she worked for Voice, a small NGO working against violence against women and girls in humanitarian settings, and localizing programming and funding for it, as well as internships with the International Rescue Committee and the Venice Bureau of UNESCO. Additionally, she is a former primary school teacher in both the US and China. She holds a European Master's in Human Rights and Democratization from the Global Campus of Human Rights, a Master's in Education from New Jersey City University, and a Bachelor in Anthropology from George Washington University.
Giulia Rante fa parte del Global Campus e si occupa in particolar modo del progetto che aiuta gli studenti afghani minacciati, nel quale coordina attività e amministra il progetto. Prima di trasferirsi a Venezia ha lavorato per Voice, che è una piccola ONG che si occupa di contrastare la violenza contro la violenza delle donne e aiuta le ragazze minacciate. E inoltre è anche stata un'insegnante di scuola primaria. Ha conseguito diversi master, tra cui quello in diritti umani e una laurea in antropologia nell'Università George Washington.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me here. As you could hear from my bio, my background is in education and human rights, especially women's rights. So this conference and symposium kind of definitely immediately connects to my work and everything I do. Academic freedom, which is kind of one of the main parts of this, is one of the core things of my organization, which I'll tell you a little about. I'll keep the focus not on that and speak more about other things later, but to give you a little context of what my work is. So I work for the Global Campus of Human Rights, which is based in Venice here in Italy. We are the most extensive network of human rights education in the world. We're going into our 25th year this year, and our biggest activity is a Human Rights Masters. We are a network of almost 100 universities around the world with 7 different hubs. I have notes here. I'm trying to do better with not printing paper, so I'm using my phone. Our different hubs around the world are here in Europe, which Venice is the headquarters for, Southeast Europe, which is based in Sarajevo and Bologna here in Italy, Africa in Pretoria, Asia Pacific in Bangkok, the Caucasus in Yerevan, Latin America and the Caribbean in Buenos Aires, and the Arab world in Beirut. So each of these hubs does a Human Rights Masters, and we also do a few different training and capacity building programs, especially in relation to children's rights from one of our main funders. We're funded primarily from the European Commission directly, and also the Right Livelihood, which is they do kind of the alternate Nobel Prize. They actually announce their laureates who will receive their yearly prize this morning. And so one of the projects we do is the Threatened Afghan Students and Scholars Program. It came from right after the fall of Kabul, being that we are a human rights institution and our main thing is education. We felt there was a social responsibility with that to help those who are not able to do their studies anymore, whether it is master's level or PhD or research, and they had a connection to human rights. Of course, it would be kind of wrong of us to not do anything. So immediately, our Secretary General reached out first to our partners in universities to see if anyone was interested. And there was an immediate response. Yes, how can we help? We want to help, we don't know how. He also reached out to the EU Commission, who amazingly, very quickly, said, yes, we want to help, and here's money. One of the fastest times I've ever seen, a government give money. So with that started this scholarship program, and it entailed a monthly living stipend, an affiliation with one of our network universities in our network, and help with travel if needed. The initial plan was to bring over roughly 20 recipients last year for the academic year. Everyone expected some trouble with and delays with visas for those who had to relocate and weren't already brought over to the EU or somewhere else, like Shakofa, who came earlier, or others I know who were evacuated right after the fall in late August. No one expected the extreme delays and difficulties that we encountered with some of these visa delays and logistics, as Shakofa was mentioning a little earlier. And that's why, so our initial idea didn't happen. Most of the recipients we confirmed, we knew we were going to do, somewhere between last November and February. The majority of the amount we had, and we ended up placing 34 last year, placed between May, June, and July. The visa processes took anywhere from 1 month to 6 months. And I actually still have 3 who are either in Islamabad or Tehran waiting for visas. This process has been absolutely insane. And this is even when we have, through some partners, assistance from some European Parliament members, which can help push a little bit. Sadly, they've not been able to have any influence with Italy. Italy has been one of the slowest embassies to work with in any country, wherever the embassy is. The requirements increase for either students or those who are coming for family reunification, anyone who's already here. The process is increasing in time. And the thing is, at this point, there is a higher need. When the process was shorter and easier was when there was a lot of government assistance. Governments were helping evacuate people. Fewer visas needed to happen because people were evacuated, and then the government assisted right away for either permits of stay or asylum procedures, things like that. Now, of course, none of those things are happening because it's a year after the fall, and it's becoming a little more forgotten about. And because of that, and then exacerbated, of course, by Ukraine, all the visa procedures are slowing and requirements increasing. Now, the one interesting thing about this is once someone gets to an EU country, for example, even Italy, asylum is actually quite easy and fast in relation to others for Afghan women, which is one amazing factor. But of course, the person has to get here. And that's, the hardest step. So kind of going back a little bit to the scholarship program that I do right now, because of all these delays, so we are not taking any more placements right now, which is a very frustrating thing because, as I said, the problems are increasing, and there are more and more requests every day from people who need it. And we can't do it. There's not enough money. There's not enough help to move people. But one thing we are doing, at least for this year, we hope to do some more placements again in the following year, is we are doing a bit of training programs. We're doing webinars and networking and working with different similar organizations like Scholars at Risk and Inspire Europe. It was actually through a Scholars at Risk conference a few months ago where I met Shakofa. And we are trying to figure out how to expand this, how to make it sustainable so we can help more. But of course, right now, it was initially meant as an emergency project. We knew it was going to probably, there would be a need for it in a year, but no one really expected that the need would increase compared to last year. And that's been something interesting. So kind of that's the background in my day-to-day. Literally my day-to-day is calling and talking to embassies and pushing for things because, as I said, this process right now is one of the most frustrating I've ever been through. Now, kind of expanding a little on what I actually do and why it's important to my organization. Education, of course, is one of the most needed things and a simple right for everyone. And everyone not only deserves it and access to it, which of course is not happening for many directly in Afghanistan. Access to it is step one, but being able to do it in a safe place is also another thing. You know, even if you've access to it, like young girls right now in Afghanistan, it may not necessarily be a safe environment. And that is something that everyone really is entitled to and should be able to do. And at the Global Campus, we definitely feel it is the duty and social responsibility of academic institutions, not even departments that connect with human rights, like the ones we work with, but all, to really help this process, to push for it, to advocate for it. So more and more have the right, not just, of course, those who live here. And of course, as we know, which luckily the one thing really that's still in the news a little bit about Afghanistan is, of course, access to higher education for women, which still has not opened up again, even though it has been promised. So, and now another frustration of mine that I deal with, and you know, pretty much, of course, most of what I'm saying is frustrations because more and more that is my day-to-day. I actually, just last Friday, we had our governing council in Venice, not just for the Afghan project, but for all things we do. And we also had our main representative from INTPA at the EU Commission, which I forget which all the letters stand for, but it's in essence their international partnerships department, and it's through them where we get our funding. And pretty much she was telling me, you know, because of the status of Afghanistan, you know, we, the Global Campus, got the money because they had this extra funding, because a lot of their regular workers who do their work directly in Afghanistan, of course, could not with the last year and safety of it. But slowly by slowly, they hope that they will start to return. And so then probably they won't have money for us anymore. And so there is that factor. If by chance some safety starts to increase a little bit, and you know, foreign governments and international organizations start to return, even if the actual status of education for women doesn't increase, the availability of aid will decrease as well. And of course, the spotlight on Afghanistan also will go down because people are saying it's, you know, becoming safe again, which we know is not really going to happen for a very, very long time. So one of my biggest things, and you know, why I wanted to be here today and why I've spoken at a few other things, is keeping that spotlight on Afghanistan. Yes, of course, we know the situation in Ukraine and some other places is horrible, and they need help, they need assistance. But the focus has moved so much away from Afghanistan. It's a frustrating thing, and people need to see it and what's going on in order to try to make any of these processes better or easier or shorter. So an additional thing we are doing right now, you know, I see everyone's looking at the pigeon. That's my general day-to-day as well, living in Venice. The new special rapporteur for Afghanistan, Richard Bennett, we work very closely with him. And one thing, some of our former recipients from last year, they're supporting directly his mandate with real-time media updates, not just from international media, to make sure he really knows what's happening there. And also they are helping him with a mapping project of organizations that are still functioning in Afghanistan, because while a lot of government is not functioning, people think nothing else is functioning. And there are a lot of people who are still trying to do work while there. So they're trying to map that, as well as ones who are in exile, and trying to see who's trying to help. And the one last thing I did want to kind of bring up is this idea of exile. So many people leave their country because they need to. And in the case of Afghanistan, of course, I don't know this personally. I've not been through this, but I know, I read and know so many personal stories are literally being hunted. Direct messages that their life is in danger, and so they do have to leave, and they don't want to. They want to stay and fight, but of course, if you are imprisoned or not alive, you cannot do that. And many, when they come to a new country, whether they're evacuated or they are fleeing and they go through different routes, they feel that they're not doing enough because they're not there. And so one thing we are trying to do at the Global Campus is kind of support that idea that exile is not a bad word. You can still do a lot externally with the idea that you want to support in any way you can. We are just starting to design a new project in cooperation with Right Livelihood to have this kind of reconceptualizing exile. It's still kind of in the process right now, so I don't have a lot of details yet. But yeah, it's a way where you can still be active and help from afar, as Shakofa is trying to do as well. And just to my one last thing, I love the idea of a counseling center because the amount of trauma that people come with is more than anyone can imagine. One of my recipients, I just found out 2 days ago, actually, she cannot continue her studies. She was placed with the University of Seville in Spain because she has been in and out of the hospital due to PTSD and trauma. And this is the case for so many, though many will not seek medical help for it. It is an extreme, extreme thing. So any type of counseling is a wonderful thing, and also networking and showing them there's a support system. So yes, anything we can do to support Afghans, especially women, because the women have been through extra trauma than others, and also make the processes to get them here reduced, faster, easier. We need to. And I will stop there.
I'm really sorry and affected about my future. I don't see my future, a good and bright future, although I make myself hopeful, but there is no hope for me. All conditions seem temporary and unknown to me. Because as a girl and a human being, I didn't achieve my human being rights. Education is the right of every girls and every human being. It's hurt me not to master what my religion and culture have allowed me to do. I want from the world community as a human being, as a fellow, as a girl. No girl in any country should be deprived of education, because education is a human right and a human need of every girl, so don't let them be deprived of their rights. The same education and sharing boys and girls in every society make the progress of every human society. I ask the world not to forget Afghan girls. I was born in the war and studied for almost 11 years in not good condition, but I didn't even want school doors to be closed on me. As you stand with others, you should stand also with Afghan girls. Don't forget the Afghan girls. Afghan girls are disappointed because one of the ruling group leaders said that the education is permissible for girls at all. What do you think about the situation of Afghan girls? What condition are they in? In an ambitious society and an ambitious future, there must be a compelling reason for girls not being allowed to study. Don't forget the Afghan girls, because maybe we will lose the world building talents. Do more to end this shocking operation. Education of girls is one of the causes of human being progress, and one of the basic conditions in this era. Closing school has devastating consequences for girls and the world. Depriving girls of education and closing schools harm the future of Afghanistan and the world. So I said that as you stand with others, also stand with Afghan girls. Don't forget them. They are disappointed. They are deprived of their rights.
Almost 15 centuries before this, Arab people killed their daughter. Okay, you study or but in Afghanistan in the 21st century, the Taliban are doing that same thing as the Arabs. The difference is that the Arab only killed the girls, but the Taliban killed the girls and his mothers together. This means that they are not allowed to leave the house or going in out of sight, are not allowed to leave the house alone. Must go outside with another family, husband or son. Yes, this is what the Taliban wanted. Now, okay, we should not let them get what they want. But the world is strangely silent. Many people in many countries are silent about the Afghanistan. Sometimes they even approve the action of the Taliban. They send them money every day. Every week, the countries send the Taliban money. Why? They allow them to enter their country. Norway, European countries. Norway invited them to come to their country, while all of them were on the United Nations blacklist. And the federal government of United States of America has set a referendum for the asset. I asked Arendt is violation of the fundamental right of half of community. The woman, member of half of my community. Of course, not that I know study it. Tell us about the Freedom Academic. Okay, and then, excuse me, this is about the Freedom Academic in another seminar. Thank you.
Time for conversation.
Thank you, Abdul, for your speech. The next person who's going to speak is Abdullah Faiz. He has a PhD in agriculture, and he was the chancellor of Herat University. He also worked as a regional conservation coordinator in Afghanistan and as a country director advisor. He is currently the head of Partial Environmental Preservation Association in the western region of Afghanistan. He has published several scientific articles.
Dunque, la prossima persona a parlare sarà Abdullah Faiz. rettore dell'Università di Herat in Afghanistan. Ha un PhD in agricoltura, è stato a capo della facoltà di agricoltura nella Università di Herat e al momento è a capo dell'Associazione per la conservazione parziale dell'ambiente, PEPA, nell'area ovest dell'Afghanistan e ha scritto diversi articoli scientifici.
Yeah, thank you so much, dear ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Really, I'm honored to be here, and I want to thanks from the organizer of this talk to provide such kind of opportunity to be here. And also, I want to add another 2 sentences in my background. Actually, I'm working as a researcher at the University of Gastronomic Science, Polenzo, and also I'm working with the Sulu food. And you know Sulu food better than me. And also, I request from my colleagues to know how many minutes time I have to speak. Yeah, because when the teacher gives the mic to the teachers are speaking more and more and more. I don't want to disturb you a lot. Yeah. Yes, this is the habit of the teachers. Yeah, actually, I want to discuss regarding the Afghanistan higher education and what was in higher education and right now the current situation of higher education in Afghanistan. And also, I want to have some point regarding the future of higher education in Afghanistan under the terrorist group of the Taliban. Yeah, but first we should know past, current, and then we can decide about the future. If you are looking to the past time of the higher education in Afghanistan, because I'm the live witness of the higher education in Afghanistan. In 1996, I became as assistant professor in Herat University after the graduation from the Faculty of Agriculture. But it was 1996, it was internal war in Afghanistan. But really it was complicated situation for all of us, not only for girls, even for boys, but it was difficult to enter at the university. But with a lot of difficulties, we completed our education and we reached to our dreams to one day become as a professor at the university. But in 1997, it was the time of the Taliban, but I was assistant professor that the Taliban became in the power in Afghanistan and they occupied Herat city. And at that time, they didn't allow even girls and boys to enter at the university. And day by day, they make a lot of strict regulation at the universities, even at the schools, that they indirectly push them, the teachers and the professors, to leave the university. But we had decision and we took decision, no, we don't want to leave the university and we should stand against the Taliban and we should create a wonderful situation for our students and we should motivate them to enter at the university. One day, their complicated situation will be moved from Afghanistan. But in 2001, after 11 of the September, which happened in the United States, and international troops enter in Afghanistan, and really all the people, they were happy. Yeah, this is the time for developing of Afghanistan. But we didn't know, after 20 years, our international friends, they submit us to the terrorist regime of the Taliban. I'm not actually agree that the Taliban become in the power. Taliban returned in the power by the some of the politicians in the world after the agreement of in Doha. When they signed the agreements, it was means the Taliban again repowered. And you know, today Taliban more and more powerful than previous. And today Afghanistan is become the paradise of the terrorist groups from all over the world. And day by day, they are become more powerful and powerful. And they request from their other terrorist group from over the world to enter in Afghanistan. And it is the best place for you, and we can do again something and against the democracy and freedom all over the world. But yes, in 2002, only in Afghanistan was 6 universities. In the whole of Afghanistan, only was 6 universities. But all the students in Afghanistan only was around 15,000 students all over the Afghanistan in this 6 university. But you know, today in 2021, and the 12th of the August, when I leave Herat University, it was more than 700,000 students only in 36 university, means public university. But now we have 148 public and private university in Afghanistan. But only in our university, in Herat University, which is the second university in Afghanistan, we had 25,000 students. 62% of our students, they were girls, and they were not from Herat. 62% of our students, they were girls. But around 52% of our students, they were not from Herat. They were from other part of Afghanistan. But we had almost 600 professors in our universities. But around 48% of our professors, they were female. And actually, from 2014 till 2020, we developed our curriculum and we standardized our curriculum according to the global standards. But unfortunately today, what is going on in our universities? What is going on in Afghanistan? Only out of this 25,000 students, today I got a report from Herat University. I discussed with some of my colleagues who are still in Herat University. Only we have 6,000 students. Out of 25,000 students, only remaining 6,000 students. But 48% of them are boys. But the girls are not, again, entered university. But out of 600 professors, only remaining 70 professors, but they are assistant professors. All the other professors, they leave Afghanistan. And really it is not good for Afghans, because Afghanistan almost has 35 million populations. 72% of our population are living in the rural area. But almost 48% of our population are girls. But what will happen to 35 millions of the people who are still in Afghanistan? But the Western countries, United States and other countries, I'm thankful of them to evacuate some of the people. But it is impossible to evacuate and take out all 35 million people from Afghanistan. But really, my best concern is that what will happen to these people who are still in Afghanistan and they are looking for bright futures. But still we have students. Sometimes some of my colleagues ask me, how many children do you have? But really, I cannot to answer this very tough question, because I don't have 5 children. I have 25,000 children who are still in Afghanistan. And really, you know what is going on. But in Afghanistan, unfortunately, the Taliban, we developed the curriculums for 5 years. We tried hard to develop our curriculums. Only in last 5 months, Taliban start the revising of the curriculum. And really, they did a funny curriculum in Afghanistan in the higher education. But they are proudly announced we developed the curriculum for the good and for the future of Afghanistan. And maybe our curriculum will be the best curriculum. But really, it is funny and tough for me. And it is a big question. How it is possible for 5 months you are developed the curriculums? And you know what has happened to the curriculums of the higher education in Afghanistan. But 70% of the curriculums is changed, especially the applied science. But they are added 36 credit hours, the Islamic religions at the universities. But how it is possible? But they are remove around 36 credit hours from all other main subjects or compulsory subjects from the universities. But today, it was my question from my colleagues. Yes, how it is possible you put the Islamic anatomy? But what it means? What it means? There is two types of the anatomies in the human beings. As a Muslim, my anatomy is different from the Christian people anatomy. But all of us, we have same anatomy. But what it means to put the Islamic anatomies in the medical faculty? For example, in the Faculty of Agriculture, they put Islamic insecticides. But it is lovely, and it is funny, and it is a big question. I don't know what this Taliban wants to do. But they are not against only the girls, the boys, and they are against the fundamental and the root of the higher education of Afghanistan. Then they want to remove the root of our higher education from Afghanistan. But another question is that why the Taliban has not permitted the girls to enter at the universities or at the schools, in the schools? Yes, they know very well, because one woman, it is equal to 5 men. And it was my slogan in Afghanistan. All times when I speak and I had some meeting and discussion with my colleagues, you know, one woman is equal to 5%. And they ask me why it is possible one woman it is equal to 5 men. I told them because my mother, she was alone. And right now she has 5 children. And all of us, they are master and PhD. And she supports us to become in such kind of education. But my mother was alone. Because she was educated, I become educated. If she was not educated, how it was possible for me to become as an educated person? But the mothers who has education, she never allowed her son or her daughters to enter in the terrorist groups and to become the friends of the terrorist people and destroy her or his countries. But right now, the Taliban, they tried to stop the education of the women in Afghanistan. But really, it is a shame for the Taliban. If they want to create a government, if they want to serve the nation of Afghanistan, they should look for the girls and for the women in Afghanistan. But without the women, how it is possible Afghanistan has become a developed country? But on other hands, right now we are facing two big questions. The first question, what should we do for our Afghans friends who are in Afghanistan? And also another question, what should we do for ourselves as a source of the educated people who are far away from Afghanistan? But may you know, and after the 21st of August, almost more than 6,000 people are evacuated by the government of Italy. But most of these refugees people are educated and skilled people who are entering Italy. But the government of Italy should not look for us like other refugees, because we are skilled people, we are researchers, we are engineers, and we are technicians. And we are looking for a job. We are looking for those things to use our knowledge, to express our feelings, and to work for the humanities. Because there is two types of the life. One is useless life, another is useless life, and another life is meaningful life. But we are looking for the meaningful life. Meaningful life means what? Meaningful life means to do for others. If you are simply sitting, eating, and sleeping, it is not life. Maybe we are physically alive. Maybe we are biologically alive, but physically we are not alive. But another question is that what we can do for our colleagues in Afghanistan. But at the beginning, when we are entering Italy, we submitted a concept proposal for Afghan Excel universities, which was online university. But in last 10 months, we had negotiation with the Taliban by our network who are in Afghanistan. But unfortunately, we are not become agree with the Taliban, and they are not allowed us to teach our students even online. But right now, we have another concepts because we have a very strong network in the Europe countries as a professors, as a researcher, or as professional people. And right now, we are looking for enhancing knowledge for students, which is very easy and also which is possible according to the rule and regulation in Afghanistan. And Taliban, they are not allowed even online school, but online school, it is not the regular school in Afghanistan. It is like enhancing knowledge for the students. Because if the girls, the boys who are studying in the online school, it is not recognized by the government of the Taliban, how it is possible they received the certificates from the schools. But only we are looking for enhancing knowledge for our students. And the other concept is the Women Empowerment Project in Afghanistan. And we want to empower the women financially and educationally. Financially means by doing some project to educate them and to provide them some skill for the women in Afghanistan who are already in the rural area of Afghanistan, in the villages, because already 72% of our population are living in the rural area, and more than 63% of our population are under 25 years old. In some hand, it is an opportunity, but in other hand, it is a big challenge for Afghanistan, because most of our young generation, they looking for job, they are looking for education, and they are looking for better future. And it is a big challenge in front of us. But right now we are looking for supporting of our colleagues. We are supporting for our international friends. But which kind of support? Financially support, technical support, and security support. We need for these three types of the supporting. Financial support to apply project in Afghanistan, technically support to advise how we can achieve to our goals in Afghanistan and how we can achieve in our goals inside the Italy or other Western country. And security support. Security support for whom? Not for us. Because security for us, it is okay. No problem. We don't have any security problem here. But other people who are in Afghanistan, other colleagues, other professors who are still in Afghanistan, they need for some security supports also. And also, even some of our family who are remaining in Afghanistan. For example, myself, still my son and my daughter are in Iran. You imagine how it is difficult since 1 year a mother and a father didn't meet his or her son and her daughter. Yes, but I'm concluding, we are here and we are looking for different types of the sports. And I'm kindly requesting to support Shukufeh, because Shukufeh right now, she announced one counseling, like an organization, counseling organization. Really, it will be the best way for the supporting Afghan refugees who are in Italy. And they need for the counsel, because we should show them the way to achieve to their goals. Thank you so much. All the best. Ciao.
Let's move on to the next speaker, who is Simona Tagliani. Simona Tagliani is an associate professor at the University of Turin, where she teaches anthropology of childhood and coordinates the Laboratory of Critical Anthropology of Migration. She has conducted field research in Italy among Nigerian immigrant women, in Cameroon, and most recently in Mozambique, on the transformation of the local health system. Since 2009, she also practices as a psychoanalytic psychotherapist after 4 years of training at the Laboratorio Freudiano in Milan and Paris. She actively collaborates with the Frantz Fanon Center in Turin, and she has published in Africa, Journal des Africanistes, Cahiers d'études africaines, Social Compass, and she is the author of Il tempo della disobbedienza, per un'antropologia della parentela nella migrazione.
Dunque, Simona Taliani è una ricercatrice e una professoressa associata presso l'Università di Torino, nella quale insegna antropologia dell'infanzia e coordina il laboratorio di antropologia critica delle migrazioni. Ha condotto diverse ricerche sul campo in Italia, in particolar modo tra le donne migranti nigeriane, in Camerun e più recentemente in Mozambico, sulla trasformazione del sistema sanitario locale. Dal 2009 inoltre pratica come psicoterapista dopo 4 anni di training al laboratorio freudiano tra Milano e Parigi. Ha pubblicato diversi articoli ed è anche l'autrice di Il tempo della disobbedienza, per un'antropologia della parentela nella migrazione.
Thanks so much. Thanks to Mosaico that have organized this meeting. Thanks to Shakofa and to all the person, professor and researcher who has spoke before me. My English is broken, and at this time of the day may be disastrous, so sorry for my speech. I am here mainly to learn because I have never been in Afghanistan, nor I have done research on this side of the world. So my reflection will be more open to what is schools and education for girls and women today. Let me just say that I would like that our sweetest greeting this evening may arrive not only to Afghani students, but also to Iranian girls and women who in this very dark present are fighting for their rights and for a better world for all of us. So their struggle continues, and I hope that we may be on their side somehow, not there, but in a very powerful way, even at the distance. I would like to start saying two very short things concerning education and schools. From an historical point of view, I think that we don't have to forget, and our colleagues before remember this very clearly. I think that we don't have to forget that under certain conditions, schools and education were sites of violence, subjugation, and discrimination. What I am thinking about, we had two historical examples from Afghanistan right now, talking about the past when the Arabs arrived and now when the Taliban arrived. But I am thinking also about other societies who faced this experience of education as violence. What about what's happened in the Canadian Indian residential school systems? I think that you have read about the situation of thousands of children, Indian children in Canada and in the north of America, who were exposed to death. And even if we are not talking always about a physical death, their deaths were social, and their parents, I mean parents in a large sense, I mean their kids are struggle until today to recognize this dark legacy of education. In the present and in the context that I know better, that is the African context, when we talk about school and education, we have to remember that is still a place in which girls and young women may encounter violence. Nigeria, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Mozambique, the country in which I worked in the past and I still continue to work, are full of stories of girls and young women who are raped at school or exposed to prostitution to pay their education in the private school. There is an anthropological work made by a young Italian researcher in Ethiopia who has analyzed deeply this link between high education, women, debt, and what in this side of Eastern Africa and also in the West is called sugar daddy, men who ask for sexual encounter and pay this young girl that may pay university. So what does it mean to build a better future when we are obliged to live this kind of experience? This is the first point. The second point is that from a social economical point of view, we have to not to forget that today schools and education are in many countries, not just Western countries, inside a neoliberal system who oblige youth to be in debt from the very beginning of their career and life. So we can talk about a new generation of life on loan. What about the Chile context? Chile is one of the Southern American contexts in which begin this very strict link between school, neoliberal system, and debt. I would like that we don't forget this. I don't want to have an innocent and too much romantic idea of education in school. And when we talk about the rights of education in school, we have to wonder which kind of education, which kind of schools. And so I think that what we are talking about this evening that concern Afghani students, of course, and their struggle for freedom, for rights and education, it's a struggle that we have to do right now here in our society. I don't mean just Italy, but in many countries, education and schools are not more rights for youth. And so I would like that Shakofa's struggle, and I know Shakofa, but I would like to take her as a symbol of their struggle can become our struggle right now and here. Because when we look at the high education, high training here for migrants and refugees, we can find the same perversion and violence that I had suggested before. That prostitution is something that happened now in our society, not so far from ourselves. I don't want to take more time. I would like that Shakofa may translate the previous speech, but I would like just to thank Mosaic again, because and this is a very personal memories, because I think that many of the refugees that composed this association continues here in Italy to make a struggle for the high education of their kids. And I would like to remember that there is a generation that who sacrificed herself. I would like to remember that many of our friends, refugees, sacrifice their dreams to study, to let their kids study in Italy. When Professor, sorry, I don't remember the Faiz stressed before that refugees arrive here with their knowledge, with their education and so on. I just would like to remember that this is a long story of misrecognition of their knowledge and competence. In the 90s, when a lot of people came as asylum seekers from the ex-Yugoslavia, they were doctors, they were professors, they were researchers, and they were obliged to go to make domestic work in the house of Italians because their skills were not recognized in our country. So there are many struggles to do, and I hope that this new battle that Afghani colleagues are doing may open again the old struggle and the new challenges that our future obliged us to face with. Thanks so much. Sorry for my English. And
thanks from all of you to come here to our conference, and a special thanks from Mosaico. I forgot in the beginning to say thanks, because most of the time when I have a problem, I call to Mosaico, do this for my people, for me, for my family. So I was thinking they are a part of my life, so I didn't tell thanks. Now I said thank you. A special thanks from Mosaico to hosting this program. Thanks from all of you to come here to stand with us for academic freedom in Afghanistan, not just Afghanistan, and all around the world. Thanks from Professor Simona Taliani, she is with us. From Professor Axeli, he is working at university, he is my colleague. And from Professor Fayez, from my friend Julia, came from Venice, and she has a lot of things to do, but she accepted to come here, my invitation. And actually, thanks from Coletto, she is also with us, and most of the time we are in contact, we are talking with them. So today I think I can conclude about this conference to telling, also I wanted to explain to you the current situation in Afghanistan and run here what happened in Afghanistan. As I think all of you know something from the media, and it's not the reality. Osna was from Afghanistan, she is in Afghanistan, and she prepared a strong report about the situation, current situation in Afghanistan. She is a university student, and she is in contact with person, and she knows the reality of the Taliban idea about the knowledge, about the education in Afghanistan. I hope we can have another conference, and she may be online. And Parwana Sadat, she is a girl waiting for the reopening of the school, and she has the same experience I had before. Now she is suffering from this. I'm sorry for my sister. They are in Afghanistan. They don't have the right to go to the school, and it's the basic right for all human in all around the world. But in my country, this is a right that my sister should fight for the basic right for the education. I don't want to tell you a lot about the current situation, and I'm suffering every day because I have a bad experience from the first period of the Taliban. And also now I want to tell a big thanks from my husband. He is there, Abdul Razak Wasiq. He was with me, that I could achieve my dream. I'm a PhD scholar in a close culture like Afghanistan with 3 kids. It's not possible if you are a woman, you want to continue your education, if a man is not with you. So my husband from the beginning supported me until now. I had the ability. I think in Afghanistan, most of the women, they have the ability, if their husband, their family ignore the culture, the close culture of Afghanistan, we can grow up if we have some support from our brothers. I'm sorry for my sister in Afghanistan, they don't have their brothers with them. I don't know what is the problem, but most of the time they think the girls should fight for their rights by themselves. But here we have sometimes, I have another special thanks from my people. They came here today, and from you, Italian or other friends, they are here with us. Thanks from all of you. I hope the war be end in all around the world. And another hope I have that once the leaders of all countries be women. Because it's not because I'm a woman I tell this, because the men destroyed all the world, not just my country. You know, just they are thinking about their political games. They never think about the humanity. If they were thinking, they didn't give the key of our country after 20 years hardworking. You know, we were thirsty of education. For example, for me, when I had a lack of 5 years non-education. I was waiting to reopening of the school for 20 years. Just I was searching where is a conference, where is a school, where is a learning center. I was, you know, I tried a lot. I didn't want to leave my country. I didn't want to leave alone my people. But now I cannot do anything. We need your support. We need your voice to be with us. We need just sometimes some of my friends ask me how we can support you. We don't have the power, but I said, if you write a message and support us, it means you do it, your responsibility. And I'm sorry also about my sister in Iran. They are women. They are suffering these days. I don't know when we will have the opportunity to make a network, a global network between all the women, and I hope we can have this network and we will decide about our future by ourselves, not asking from the men. It's not in general, I say all the men are bad. It means sometimes, sorry, because my husband is also a man, but he is with me. My brothers, you know, we are 8 brothers and sisters. Just my mother could grow up as educated. All of us are specialists. All of us are in different fields. We are specialists. So my father also helped my mother. It means sometimes men want to help, sometimes don't want. So it's not in a general, I say that's all of you. But I hope, I'm not a feminist, but I hope once the control of all the world be with the woman, and on that time you will see peace will be on all around the world. Thank you. Sorry for this.
We have come to the end of this conference that I think each and every one of us will go back home having in mind what we have to do to make this world a better place, not only for the women, for the young girls, but for everyone. And education is very important because with it we can easily change our views, we can change our horizons, we can change the way we look at things. So Mosaico, which is the association that I had, we are doing our best to ensure that the refugees come and realize your dreams. If you have to go to school and because most often when they come, they don't have that opportunity. We didn't have it in the past, but with the collaboration that we have had with Professor, she is laughing because she knows the friendship, what unites both of us. And so for the past 5 years, some of the refugees from different countries have been able to realize their dreams, go to the university, and they continue the studies because they know, there is a chance. And so I would just like to say it's a universal fight. It's the fight for each and every one of us. And if you can put your voice in one way or the other, so that the girls, wherever they may be around the world, they can be here in Africa, they can be here in Asia, they can be in America, those who are in need, I think all of us, we need to join as one voice to ensure that the girls and the women have their rights respected and not discriminated as it's been done in many countries around the world. So I wish you all the best, and the fight continues.